Species sees Natasha Henstridge playing a woman who is made up from alien DNA. Some scientists have essentially built her in a lab using some code that has been found from some alien transmission. Now, once she breaks free, because she doesn't want to be obviously trapped in a cage all her life, she sets about trying to find a mate, the results of which could be disastrous, because if she mates with a human, the progeny of that could be something quite terrible and obviously unearthly. So the scientist, Xavier Fitch, played here by Ben Kingsley, the man who started this whole process rolling, he hires 4 people as part of a crack team to hunt down this woman and stop her from mating. That team consists of 2 scientists, played by Alfred Molina and Marg Helgenberger, 1 empath, played by Whitaker, and a military hitman, played by Michael Madsen. This film came out in 1995, and it is essentially coming off the back of the success of The X-Files. I don't think a film like this would have been made around this time if it weren't for The X-Files. You know, it's a show that dealt with conspiracies, with aliens, with the paranormal, and that's all here. Right down to Forest Whitaker's empath. While I like Forest Whitaker, I'm not overly keen on this character because it just feels like expositional. You know, it feels like one of those characters that the writers have come up with so that they can write their way out of situations or write their way into situations at any given moment, you know, without any real explanation. I will say that I do like Michael Madsen in this film. I'm not the biggest Michael Madsen fan. I think he tends to do his best work with Quentin Tarantino. In fact, I don't really care about any of his other work when he's not working with Tarantino. So yeah, to see him here in this film and have him play a character that I actually like, that I can get on board with, quite a new thing for me. Alfred Molina is probably the most likeable of the bunch. He pretty much spends most of the film's running time pining over Marg Helgenberger's character, who shows no interest in him. So if you can't see where that storyline's going in a film about an alien woman who's trying to track down a mate, then I despair. Natasha Henstridge in this film as Syl, the alien, doesn't embarrass herself. There's not much required of her. She mostly just needs to get naked and seduce a few men, which, given her appearance, wouldn't be hard, obviously. But yeah, she holds her own in a film that really doesn't ask that much. Someone who does make an impression, however, is a very young Michelle Williams. I completely forgot she was in this film, but she plays the younger version of Syl before she becomes Natasha Henstridge in the kind of chrysalis stage, or after the chrysalis stage. And it's particularly during that sequence, when she kind of goes into this chrysalis, that she really sells that sequence, because the special effects certainly do not. The special effects in this film have dated considerably badly. During that sequence, the fact that it kind of works is down to Michelle Williams' performance. She really sells it. Also, some nice use of lighting. You know, the scene takes place on a train, and during that moment, the train goes through a tunnel. So we get these kind of little fluctuations of light, which adds a lot of atmosphere and adds a lot of tension. You know, couple that with Williams' performance and you've got a pretty decent sequence. The guy who directed this film is Roger Donaldson, who I think on the whole is a bit of an underrated director. You know, he's not up there with your Spielbergs and whatnot, but if you want someone who's competent, who's going to do a pretty decent job with the film, you could do far worse. This guy made 13 Days, which is one of the best political thrillers that you're going to find out there, you know, and he's done a few other underrated movies as well. So yeah, he's pulling the strings behind this, and I think he brings quite a bit to the table that maybe wouldn't be brought was he not attached. The tension that he is able to build during the aforementioned chrysalis sequence is just one example of what I mean when I say he's got certain abilities as a director to steer the film in the right direction. The film on the whole is actually a pretty good chase movie. You know, it's just these 4 people chasing down this alien. And it's really the final act that kind of doesn't quite work for me. And a lot of that is down to those special effects. You know, you get into the big kind of battle sequence with Syl at the end, and she turns full alien, full H.R. Geiger alien, I might add. You will recognise those designs from anywhere. If you've seen Alien, there's no second guessing who came up with them. But unfortunately, they're not brilliantly realised by the CGI. So if you're into alien movies and action movies in general, I think this film does have something to offer. It's entertaining, there's some nice character moments in it, and some nice action beats as well. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I don't think it's any better than that, but it's entertaining, it passes the time. So yeah, there you go, 3 out of 5 from me. But what about you? Have you seen Species? And if so, what did you think about it? Comment below and let me know. And until next time, thanks for watching. Kind of places within the script, you know what I mean? So, forced.